You know that moment when your entire world just shatters? When everything you thought was real turns out to be a carefully constructed lie. Yeah, that happened to me last Tuesday at 2:47 p.m. I was standing in the lobby of my husband's company, the company he built from the ground up, the company where he's the CEO, staring at a sign that made my blood run cold. But let me back up, because this story doesn't start with that sign. It starts 6 months earlier with what I thought was the perfect marriage. My name's Amanda, I'm 31 years old, and I married Daniel 3 years ago. He's brilliant, ambitious, successful. He started his tech company 8 years ago in our garage, and now it's worth over $200 million. He's the CEO, the boss, the man everyone respects, and I thought I was his everything. We had the dream life, you know. Beautiful house in the suburbs, nice cars, vacations in Europe, date nights at fancy restaurants. He'd come home every night and tell me about his day, about the deals he was closing, the investors he was meeting, the employees he was managing. I supported him through everything. When he worked 16-hour days in the early years, I brought him dinner at the office. When he was stressed about funding, I rubbed his shoulders and told him it would work out. When he finally made his first million, I was the one he called first. I was his partner, his rock, his wife, or so I thought. Here's where things started getting weird. About 6 months ago, Daniel started acting different. Nothing major at first, just little things. He'd come home later. He'd be on his phone more. He'd get calls during dinner and step outside to take them. Just work stuff, he'd say with that charming smile. You know how it is. And I did know. Running a company is demanding. I understood. I was the supportive wife. I didn't nag. I didn't complain. Then he started going on more business trips, conferences, client meetings, investor presentations. Sometimes he'd be gone for 3 or 4 days at a time. I wish you could come with me, he'd say, kissing my forehead. But these trips are so boring. Just meetings and PowerPoints. You'd hate it. I believed him. Why wouldn't I? He'd never given me a reason not to trust him. But then my best friend, Sarah, planted a seed of doubt. We were having coffee last month when she casually mentioned, I saw Daniel's company in the news. They won some big award. Did you go to the ceremony? What ceremony? I asked. The Tech Innovator Awards. It was last Thursday night. Big fancy event downtown. Daniel gave a speech apparently. Last Thursday night, Daniel had told me he was in Boston for a client meeting. Must be a different event, I said, laughing it off. Daniel was out of town Thursday. Sarah pulled out her phone and showed me the article. There was Daniel, in a tux, holding an award, standing on stage at a venue that was definitely in our city. The date stamp was clear, last Thursday. My stomach dropped. Amanda, are you okay? Sarah asked. You look pale. I am fine. I lied. Just surprised he didn't mention it. But I wasn't fine. Because if Daniel had lied about being in Boston, what else had he lied about? That night, when he came home, I asked him about his trip. How was Boston? Exhausting, he said, loosening his tie. The client was demanding. But I think we closed the deal. That's great, honey. I kept my voice casual. Did anything else interesting happen this week? Not really. Same old boring meetings. He looked me right in the eye and lied. No hesitation. No guilt. Just a smooth, practiced lie. I didn't confront him. Not yet. Because I needed to know the truth first. All of it. So I did something I'm not proud of. I started snooping. I checked his emails when he was in the shower. I looked through his texts while he was sleeping. I checked our credit card statements for charges that didn't match his stories. And what I found made me sick. Hotel rooms in our city on nights he claimed to be traveling. Charges at expensive restaurants I'd never been to. Purchases from jewelry stores, jewelry I'd never received. But the worst part? I found an email from his assistant, Megan. Just a short message. Dinner reservation confirmed for 2 at Marco's. 7 p.m. Your usual table. His usual table. At a restaurant I'd never even heard of. I looked up Marco's. It was an intimate Italian place across town. The kind of place you take someone for a romantic dinner, not a business meeting. My hands were shaking as I kept digging. More emails. More reservations. A pattern going back months. Every business trip. Every late night at the office. Every excuse had been a lie. Daniel was having an affair. Had to be. There was no other explanation. I decided to catch him in the act. Last Tuesday, Daniel told me he had back-to-back meetings all day and would be home late. "Don't wait up," he said, kissing my cheek. "Probably won't be home until after 10. I smiled and nodded. "Okay, honey. Have a good day." The second he left, I started planning. I was going to surprise him at his office. Show up with lunch like I used to in the early days. Be the loving wife. See how he reacted. But really, I was going to catch him. See if the mistress was there. Confront them both. I got dressed up. Did my hair and makeup. Put on the dress Daniel always said he loved. I wanted to look perfect for this. Wanted her, whoever she was, to see exactly what he was risking. At 2:30 p.m., I drove to his office building downtown. It's this massive glass tower, 23 floors. His company occupies the top 5 floors. I'd only been there a handful of times. Daniel always said he liked to keep work and home separate. Now I knew why. I walked into the lobby carrying a bag with sandwiches from his favorite deli. My heart was pounding. My palms were sweating. But I was determined. And that's when I saw the sign. Right there in the main lobby. A huge professional sign on a stand. The kind they use for building directories or event announcements. It read, "Welcome to Meridian Tech, Claire Patterson, CEO." I stopped walking. Actually froze mid-step. Claire Patterson, CEO. Not Daniel Harrison. Not my husband. Claire Patterson. I stared at that sign for what felt like hours, but was probably 30 seconds. My brain was trying to process what I was seeing. There had to be a mistake. Maybe it was an old sign. Maybe Claire was a co-CEO. Maybe. "Can I help you, ma'am?" I turned. A security guard was looking at me with concern. I'm here to see Daniel Harrison," I managed to say. The guard frowned. "Who?" "Daniel Harrison. He's the CEO of Meridian Tech. His office is on the 23rd floor. The guard's frown deepened. "Ma'am, Claire Patterson is the CEO of Meridian Tech. Has been for 5 years. I don't know any Daniel Harrison." The floor felt like it was tilting. "That's impossible," I said. "My husband is Daniel Harrison. He founded this company. He's the CEO. I've seen the business cards, the contracts, everything." "Ma'am, I think you're confused," the guard said gently. "Maybe you have the wrong building." "No," I said firmly. "This is Meridian Tech 250, Commerce Street. This is the right building." "Then I don't know what to tell you," the guard said. "But there's no Daniel Harrison here. Never has been as far as I know. And I've worked this lobby for 7 years." I pulled out my phone with shaking hands and showed him a photo of Daniel. "This man. Have you seen him?" The guard studied the photo. "Never seen him before in my life." I couldn't breathe. This wasn't possible. This wasn't real. Can I speak to someone in HR? I asked desperately. Or administration. Someone who can tell me what's going on. The guard made a call. 5 minutes later, a woman in a business suit came down to the lobby. She introduced herself as Jennifer, the head of HR. "How can I help you?" she asked kindly. I showed her Daniel's photo. Explained that my husband claimed to be the CEO of this company. That he'd been working here for 8 years. Jennifer's expression shifted from confusion to concern to something that looked like pity. "Ma'am, I've been with Meridian Tech for 6 years. I know every executive, every manager, every employee. This man does not work here. He never has." My legs gave out. I literally sat down on the floor of that lobby. "That's impossible," I whispered. "He comes here every day. He talks about work, about meetings and deals and employees. He brings home a paycheck. Ma'am, I think you need to call someone," Jennifer said gently. "Is there a friend or family member who can come get you?" I called Sarah. She was there in 15 minutes. She helped me to her car while I sobbed incoherently. "He doesn't work there," I kept saying. "He never worked there." "Sarah, what the hell is going on?" "We're going to figure this out," Sarah said grimly. "But first, we're going to your house. We're going through everything. Every document, every paper, every file. And we're going to find out who the hell your husband really is." What we found destroyed me. Sarah and I spent the next 3 hours tearing through Daniel's home office, looking through files, documents, anything that might explain what was happening. And oh God, did we find explanations. Daniel Harrison isn't a CEO. He isn't a tech entrepreneur. He isn't even in business. He's a con artist. We found fake business cards, Fake contracts. Fake investor letters. All of it professionally made. All of it completely fraudulent. We found bank statements showing deposits, large deposits, coming in regularly. But not from a company. From multiple different accounts. Different names. Always cash deposits or wire transfers. We found a burner phone hidden in the back of his desk drawer. When Sarah turned it on, there were dozens of messages. From women. Multiple women. Can't wait to see you tonight, baby. When are you leaving her? The money you sent helped so much. You're amazing. He wasn't just lying about his job. He was running some kind of elaborate scam. And I wasn't his wife. I was his cover. The perfect, unsuspecting wife who made him look legitimate, who gave him respectability, who never questioned where the money came from or what he really did all day. I called the number Daniel had given me for his office. It went to a Google Voice number. No one answered. I called his assistant, Megan. The number was disconnected. I tried to access the company website he'd shown me. It was a template site. Fake testimonials. Stock photos. Nothing real. Every single thing about Daniel's professional life was a lie. Amanda, we need to call the police, Sarah said. No, I said. I was past crying now. Past shock. I was angry. Not yet. First, I'm going to confront him. I'm going to look him in the eye and make him tell me the truth. Daniel came home that night at 10:15 p.m., just like he said he would. I was sitting in the living room. Lights off. Waiting. Amanda, why are you sitting in the dark? I turned on the lamp. He blinked in the sudden light. How was work, honey? I asked calmly. Exhausting. Long day of meetings. I'm beat. What kind of meetings? Just the usual. Budget stuff. Investor calls. Why? Where do you work, Daniel? He laughed. What do you mean? You know where I work. Meridian Tech. Interesting. Because I went to Meridian Tech today. To surprise you with lunch. I watched the color drain from his face. And you want to know what I found? There is no Daniel Harrison at Meridian Tech. There never was. The CEO is a woman named Claire Patterson. No one there has ever heard of you. Daniel opened his mouth. Closed it. Opened it again. Amanda, I can explain. Explain what? My voice was rising now. Explain how you've been lying to me for 3 years. Explain where the money actually comes from. Explain the burner phone with messages from multiple women. Explain any of this. It's complicated. Uncomplicated. I screamed. Who the hell are you? What have you been doing every day for the past 3 years? Where does the money come from? Are we even legally married? That last question stopped him cold. Of course we're married, he said quietly. Are we? Because I don't even know your real name at this point. Is it even Daniel Harrison? Silence. Oh my God, I whispered. That's not your real name, is it? More silence. Who are you? I asked. Tell me the truth. Right now. Or I'm calling the police. Daniel, or whatever his real name was, sat down heavily on the couch. He put his head in his hands. My real name is Marcus Webb, he said finally. And I'm a professional con man. Have been for 15 years. I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach. The money comes from investment scams, he continued. I find wealthy targets. Convince them to invest in fake companies. Fake opportunities. I take their money and disappear before they realize it's a scam. I've made millions over the years. And me? I whispered. What am I? You were supposed to be cover, he said, not meeting my eyes. A wife makes you look stable. Trustworthy. Legitimate. People don't suspect a married man. It was supposed to be temporary. But then I actually fell for you. This was supposed to end a year ago. I was supposed to take one last big score and disappear. But I couldn't leave you. How noble, I said bitterly. You stay with the woman you've been lying to every single day. I love you, Amanda. That part was real. I stood up. Get out. Amanda, get out of my house. Right now. Before I call the police and have you arrested for fraud, for identity theft, for whatever the hell else you've done. This is my house too. Is it? Is it really? Or is this house purchased with stolen money? Is the deed even in your real name? Get out, Marcus, or whatever your name really is. Get out and never come back. He stood up slowly, looked at me one last time. I really do love you. You don't know what love is, I said. Love is built on truth, on trust. You gave me neither. You gave me a fantasy. A lie. Now get out. He left. I locked the door behind him and collapsed. That was 8 days ago. I filed for divorce the next morning. Contacted the FBI to report what I knew about his scams. Froze all our joint accounts. Changed all the locks. Burned everything he left behind. Turns out, Marcus Webb, his real name, is wanted in 4 states for fraud. He's been running cons for 15 years, just like he said. Our marriage is legal, unfortunately. He used a fake identity, but the marriage certificate is real, which means I'm legally married to a con artist. The FBI says they're building a case. They think he scammed investors out of at least $20 million over the years. They want me to testify. I said yes. Some of his victims have contacted me through the investigation. People who lost their retirement savings, their kids' college funds, their homes, because they believed in the charming man with the beautiful wife and the successful tech company. I was the proof that he was legitimate. I was part of the con without even knowing it. The house is being seized. Turns out it was purchased with fraudulent funds. The cars, too. The bank accounts are frozen pending investigation. I'm living with Sarah now, trying to rebuild from nothing. Because that's what I have. Nothing. Every dollar, every possession, every memory, all of it built on lies. People keep asking me how I didn't know, how I didn't see the signs, how I didn't question it more, how I could be so blind. And the truth is, I don't know. He was good, really good. He'd been doing this for 15 years. He knew how to lie, how to manipulate, how to create a believable fantasy. And I wanted to believe it. I wanted the fairy tale, the successful husband, the perfect life. I didn't ask hard questions because I didn't want the answers. That's on me. The therapist I'm seeing now says I'm a victim, that I shouldn't blame myself, that Marcus is a professional predator who targeted me specifically because I was trusting and kind. Maybe she's right, but it doesn't make me feel any less stupid. So to anyone out there, pay attention. If your partner is vague about work, verify it. If they have unexplained money, ask where it comes from. If their stories don't quite add up, dig deeper. If something feels off, trust your gut. Don't be like me. Don't take everything at face value just because you want it to be true. Because sometimes, the person you're sleeping next to is a complete stranger. And you won't know until you're standing in a lobby, staring at a sign that proves your entire life is a lie. I'm Amanda. I'm 31 years old. And I was married to a man who doesn't exist. Now I'm starting over. From scratch. With nothing but the truth and a hard lesson learned. That sign in the lobby, Claire Patterson, CEO, it saved me. Because if I hadn't seen it, I might have spent years living in that lie. Might have had kids with a con man. Might have grown old believing in a fantasy. Instead, I'm free. Broke. Heartbroken. Humiliated. But free. And that's worth everything.